time. We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
Hey, everyone. I am here on A Free Solution. So happy to have you here. Give me a chunk of your afternoon. I am also the host of The Sharp Way. Please feel free to follow me on, YouTube. How about that? The Sharp Way. It's a cool show almost every day. But here, WYSL, Rochester, New York, WENY, Elmira, Corning, The Patriot, and WACK in Newark, New York. You want to reach out to me and talk to me? You can. 585-346-3000. And I know if you're a millennial, you're like, what's that? It's a phone number. That's what that is. If you're a millennial, you may not know that. You can actually use your phone to call. Yes, that's something that us old people used to do and still do sometimes. Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm talking about the youngins, the millennials and the Gen Zs and such. Why am I bringing them up right now? Because school. Yep. School. As most of you know, I live in New York City, and we've been having some trouble with schools. Lots of people have, but us too. And it is the randomness. It is the fear and silliness that is crushing our school system here in New York City and across the state. But it's more obvious here in New York City because we have a massive school system, right? Our school system here is 1 million kids strong. That's a lot, right? There's a lot of kids in our school system. So that's the reason why, obviously. So what does that mean? Why would I care? When I was running for governor, I said the number one metric that I would have for if I was being a good governor, if I'd won, would be if I'd stopped the bleeding, meaning I'd stopped New Yorkers from leaving New York, which you've been leaving in droves, and you know that. Well, guess what's happening with New York City public schools? Leaving in droves. People are leaving, literally just saying, I'm done. People who are proponents of public school, who have talked about funding them even more. We now in New York City fund $29,000 per student in New York City. Yep, I said it, 29,000. That is double the country's average, the highest in the nation. And people are leaving. It's like, we're out. Not dealing with it anymore. These are people who are choosing, and I'm not joking with this, to take a second mortgage out on their home so they can get their kid into a private school. That's what we're doing now. So they still have to pay the horrible New York taxes. They have to pay for the $29,000 a year for each kid and then still pay for private school. Wow. And you wonder why people are leaving New York. Do you wonder why we're losing population? And now, as many of you already know, losing representation at the federal level because we don't have enough people. They're leaving. Wouldn't you? So now that's happening. People, again, who were all supportive about the school system, all about how awesome it is, and they're leaving. Not people who are already unhappy. People who don't want to deal with it because it's done so poorly. And one of the reasons why it's done so poorly, and there are so many reasons why it's done so poorly, but one of them is the inconsistency and the fear. Teachers who don't want to come in because they're scared. Teachers who do want to come in can't come in because the unions are pressuring them not to. So you got teachers who don't want to come in, who are happy staying home all day, and teachers who want to come in who now can't come in because of union pressure. Bad, bad, and bad. One kid gets COVID, not, they're going to be ill, but they get it, and the whole school shuts down. Things change. But now they've gone one step further. And this is the part that's actually good. I mean, all the stuff I just talked about was bad. But here's the good part. They're now starting to say things like, well, maybe we shouldn't worry about our year-end test. let's not deal with our SATs this year, or let's not do our Regents test this year, that type of thing. That happened last year. Now there's something to try to do it this year. And some people are fighting that too. Well, it's not fair. Can't do it. Well, here becomes the problem. Here becomes the problem. You didn't do it last year. And what happened? Nothing. Because the tests were useless. I've been saying tests are useless for how many years now? And it proved they were useless. So they have to do it this year. Because if they don't do it this year, it validates what I said. They're useless. But I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Useless in the way I describe valuable, but not actually useless. That's not 100% true. They do perform one important thing. They decide how federal money, federal bribes come down. They do. Federal bribes are heavily based upon testing. So if you don't do the testing, the federal government gets mad. They don't get data. They don't get control. They don't want to give you money. That's how the federal government punishes us. The government says, oh, you want that money? By the way, the money that we stole from you in the first place, we'll give it back to you. I mean, a part of it, if you do as we say. I'm not joking. And if you're in a school system, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm stealing your money, then saying I'll give some of it back if you do what I say. So schools are like, okay, sir, we'll do the stupid testing, even though it has no value. And parents are noticing that. And the parents are going, why are we doing this again? What's happening? Wait a minute. This is all garbage. And now the next two things. Oh, you'll love this piece too. Now they're ending gifted and talented programs and advanced placement programs, the G&T and the AP programs. They're ending them. Why would you end them? I thought they were so critical. I thought the kids had to fight for them. And if you know how New York City works, and other cities too, I'm just saying New York City is the epicenter of this, of kids fighting to get in and testing when they're 6. I'm not joking. They test when they're 5 or 6 years old to get into these programs. And it's competitive, and you got to fight to get in, and you got to get tutors to get in. Oh, we're just going to cancel them. Why? Because they have no value. They never did. They never did. I pulled my oldest daughter out of G&T because it was useless. It was full of kids who just wanted to put their heads in books all day and not learn anything of any real value. I didn't even let my youngest one in. She passed the test, I didn't let her in. Like, no, we're done. Don't need to go there. Now, AP classes look good on a resume. I'm sorry, a college resume. Look good on the college resume. It's nice. It does look nice. That's true. And now they're gone. So why am I in this good school district? Why am I jumping through hoops to be in public school when I don't even get that anymore? Now they're changing to how the Regents diplomas work in New York City, in New York State, which were useless also, but at least made the kids kind of like they were going towards something, I guess. Most kids don't care either. I mean, nobody should care what the Regents diploma is in New York State. A total and absolute colossal waste of time, energy, and money. Totally stupid. Should be ended tomorrow. And they're trying to end it, which would be a good thing. Total waste of time. Nobody cares. I want to be clear. I don't mean to be mean if you have a Regents diploma. I do also. I scam my Regents diploma because this is back in the 80s when the Regents diploma was, you basically had to take a certain number of classes and pass a test. But there was no real computer system to decide that. So I literally just walked in, true story. I literally just walked into the Regents test. The teachers knew me, thought that I had all the credentials. I didn't. I walked in, took the test, passed the test, and got a Regents diploma with none of the qualifications. I'm being very clear. I have a New York State Regents diploma, none of the qualifications required, just pass the test, and I got it. Do you know how often that mattered to me in my life? Hold on, let me think about if I count that time and then that time. Yeah, never, ever, never. No one cares. Never mattered at all, ever, and never will. All those things are a disaster. Useless. Extra pressure for our kids for nothing. So the good thing of how bad our public school system is and how bad they're acting is it is showing some of the negativity, some of the waste and the fraud and abuse that is in our system. That's a positive thing. The issue is, will we do something about it? That part I'm not sure about. I'm hoping that this will show how bad this system is. I'm hoping this will show the errors, the amount of bureaucracy that we have in our system and how it's made things terrible, that'll make things better in the future. I hope at least. Larry Sharp, A Free Solution, 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
When you've been seriously injured in a car crash, you need a lawyer who knows how to beat the big insurance companies. Call me and I'll take them on so you can focus on your health and family.
Car crash, call Salino. Salino, call Salino. 888-2020.
Main Street, Rochester. A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182.
We have Dave from Brockport, New York.
A free solution.
It is Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. WYSL, Rochester, New York. WENY, Elmira Corning, The Patriot. WACK in Newark, New York. Yes, Newark, New York is the cool Newark. 585-346-3000. I want to make sure we understand something, guys. This show is on like every day, every afternoon. If you want to be able to hear it, follow A Free Solution on Facebook or YouTube. Well, Larry, I don't like Facebook. I don't like YouTube. Okay, fine. Go on YouTube anyway. Look at this show. And there's a link that shows you where you can listen to the podcast. There's a podcast too. So whatever is your thing, my friend, we got you. All good. I appreciate it. Let me grab a couple of comments if I could. Just one or two. John Morris, he says, Unions telling teachers not to post vacation pictures on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, exactly. You're supposed to be getting paid. Why are you out there, Absolutely. Earn your cash too, like everybody else here. That's exactly right. Yes. Nick says, should have been Governor Larry Sharp. A shame. Hey, might still happen. You never know. You never know. Adam says, hey, Larry, great show. Have you thought about getting on Spotify? I am. Absolutely. You can check my Shortwave show out on Spotify, and you can click for the podcast, this show too. Either one, whichever you prefer. We got you. Let me grab a call if I can. Let me see here. I can grab Dave from Rockport. How are you, sir?
Brockport.
Good. Yourself, Larry?
I'm doing good. Oh, Brockport. I'm sorry. Oh, that's out west. Okay. Rockport's east towards me. Rockport's out there west. Okay. Wrong one.
Why are you so tough on the Regents diploma? I mean, I was one of them kids from the 80s who did very little, still got A's and B's, got my Regents diploma. Give me your take on this. I'm wanting to disagree with you, but I need some facts here.
Yeah, I'm happy to. The Regents diploma when we were kids was relatively simple. It was you had to have a certain number of credits and you had to take a test. That's what you had, right? Yep, that was mine. That's not how it works anymore. If you have anybody who's a teenager in your life, ask them and they will tell you. What actually it is now is it's like 4 or 5 different types of Regents diplomas. Each one depends. Do you take 4 years of language or 3 of English or this of science and blah, 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 blah. And they pressure you into getting one of these diplomas. If you now look at the world today, nobody cares. There's not one HR person who is sitting there in their office going, whoa, Jane got a blah, blah Regents diploma in New York State. Let's hire her. Never happens. Never has happened. That's my problem. My problem is now you've added extra stress onto kids that has no value. If you want to add stress on kids, and I'm not against adding stress on kids, but add the stress when there is a payoff. Add the stress to where there's value. This is unnecessary stress. That's my argument. Does that make sense at least?
Yeah. Things have obviously changed.
Yes.
Both my kids got Regents diplomas because, back in our day, a local diploma meant you could maybe feed yourself,
Yes.
And, but okay.
I remember when I was a kid, I got my first, job at around 16 years old. I think it was 15 or 16. And I think 16. And I got a job at 16 years old and I was making some money. I opened up my first bank account. I think I was 15 years old. And I went to a bank, and if you're in my age, if you got some gray hair, Dave, like I got, you remember this, I went to a bank, I opened up my account, and they gave me a gift to open up my account. I got an electric can opener, and I brought it home to my mom.
I got the toaster. I got the electric
There we
toaster.
go. You got a toaster. Yes.
Yeah. And then 3 years later, they came out with ATMs.
Yeah, exactly. And then that was the end. That was a yes. 100%.
All right,
So
thanks for clarifying that. I must have missed something in the last 30 years.
we all have, my friend. We all have.
All right. Keep up the good
Have a
work.
good one. So, yeah, I mean, the issue I have is I'm not against putting pressure on our kids. I think a bit of pressure is good for everybody, right? Including kids. We should all have a little bit of pressure to push us to be better, stronger, faster, to move towards a goal that we think is important. I don't mind. And when Dave and I were kids, we had the same kind of Regents diploma. All it said was you need extra credits. I forgot the number. Like, I'm making this up, but you'll get my point. Like, if you had 17 credits, you could get a high school diploma. But if you had 22, you can get a Regents if you pass a test. It was something like that. I've made those numbers up. I don't remember what they were. I'm sure somebody remembers, but that's what it was. Now it's all different. It just creates extra pressure, plus the testing, plus all these things. And our kids still can't get jobs. You heard what Dave said. Dave literally said, you used to be able to feed yourself with a high school diploma. Yeah. Now you can too, but only if you've got a trade. If you got a trade, you can feed yourself. You don't have a trade, you live at home with mom. Or you move into a city and you're going to have 5 roommates. That's it. And you're going to hope you become a YouTuber or something. I don't know, whatever you're going to become. You can hope for that. Probably not the best plan, but I guess some people it works. If you're lucky enough, good for you. So yes, I hope that cleared things up. There is more about schools though. Let me grab a couple more comments. People are commenting here on the interwebs. Let me grab a couple of those. Shane says, the SAT is a money-making scam. Yes. Now, how do I know this to be true? How can I say that SATs are bad? I'm going to have Dave call me back, get mad at me about SATs now. Dave, hear me out before you call me and yell at me. Let me at least hear me out on this one. SATs are clearly a scam for 2 reasons. Number 1, people get high SAT scores, and it doesn't correlate to success in life, with one exception, as I always bring up, academia. If you want to be a college professor, SAT scores are a great indicator of whether you'll be successful as that if you want to. So will IQ score, by the way, if you want to be a college professor. If you don't want to be in academia, it has no value. Outside of academia, you could get a 1600 SAT, a 800 SAT. Does not mean you'll be good or bad at whatever you do in life. Again, the exception is academia. If you want to be a college professor, you should be doing well in your SATs and hopefully have a very high IQ. In that specific scenario, great indicator. Everything else, 0 value. So that's number 1. But the second piece, do you remember the college scandals last year? Remember the college scandals? People were paying, people are getting into these heavy hitter schools. They were lying and bribing people and all that stuff. So they were bribing schools to get their kids in. Did the kids have the right scores? No. Did the kids fail at a higher rate? No. So the SAT is not only no correlation, no causation to success in life, with the exception of academia. It also doesn't mean you'll be successful in school. You might do well in school, and you might fail in school with a high SAT score. You might survive in that school, and you might not, regardless of SAT score. And the scams prove that. That's why people are like, why are we taking SATs and ACTs? Would I just write a check and my kid will get in anyway? They have legacies, right? George W. Bush got into Yale because dad was a Yale guy. Got it. That's why you're in. So he passed. He got through Yale, became president. What value does the SAT have? You are completely correct, Shane. It is, without question, a money-making scam. There are many other ways we should be using to get kids into college. And if it wasn't for the government deciding to back every loan, and now, for those who don't know, you can never escape your college loan, even if you declare bankruptcy. You never get rid of your college loan, ever, because the government says so. So that's why people are shipping themselves off to college. Instead of finding a better way, which is, should you go to college? I'm not against college, guys. I know I sound like I am. The reason why I come so hard like that against colleges is because our society has said, and it's been a lie for years, that the only way to success is through college, and that you must go to college at 18 so that 22, you're ready for that great job and career. Those are both lies. Number 1, college is not the only way. It is absolutely a way. And if you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, college is exactly the right answer for you. Please go. Absolutely. You want to be a teacher, a professor, please go to college. That's exactly the right answer. But there are many jobs and careers you can have that doesn't matter. And not just that. Why go to college at 18? Go to college when you're ready to go to college. 16, 18, 28, 38. Why do I care? The system is a bad system. SATs are a joke. Regents are useless. We need a complete overhaul. I talked about it for years. It's coming right now. But guys, private's bad too. I will cover that after the break. Larry Sharp, our free solution. 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
The new Dan Bongino Show, coming May 24th. AM 10.
Okay, we'll have another caller, Melissa from Olean.
I'm Spencer Ford.
Here's
You're welcome.
the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Mostly cloudy skies, but pretty quiet weather out there. We'll stay in the mid and upper 50s on Wednesday. Weather could turn a little active. It'll get briefly very mild, well up into the 70s. But keep an eye to the sky in the afternoon. It could be a strong to potentially severe thunderstorm on Wednesday afternoon. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Are longer, warmer days making you think spring? Think Springwater Amish Workshop. Get ready to enhance your outdoor spaces. Springwater Amish Workshop has just received a new shipment of durable, beautiful poly lawn furniture. Gliders, folding Adirondack chairs, dining sets, and accessory items will spruce up your lawn for spring and summer. If you like birdhouses, Springwater Amish Workshop has a beauty that's great for lakeside property, a lighthouse, or choose from other designs like birds, moose, raccoons, dogs, and others. And of course, they specialize in backyard sheds and gazebos. Get the best quality, best warranty, best service, best selection. Get yours ordered today to avoid delay so you can enjoy your Amish building during all the good weather months to come. Springwater Amish Workshop on 7936 Route 15 in Springwater. Open Monday and Wednesday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit SpringwaterAmishWorkshop.com or visit them on Facebook. Call 585-669-9710.
Because your future is worth it. MGM Associates Insurance. Proudly serving the region since 1984, MGM can meet your coverage needs, ranging from home, condo, and auto, all the way to specialized policies for business, workers' comp, to limo and taxi insurance, and coverage for tech professionals like IT specialists. They can also help lead you through the confusing maze in the new world of health insurance coverage and options. MGM Associates is large enough to serve you, but small enough to care, so you don't have to wait in line on some 800 number to get prompt personal attention. MGM Associates is the only winner of the National Best Practices Award 5 times in a row. MGM is proud to support veterans groups, including Heroes Home Advantage. For your personal, business, home, or professional insurance needs, put the experience of MGM.
By the way, Larry, our 20,000 watt AM signal goes to Olean, so she could be listening on the radio.
381-7008 or mgminsure.com, an associate of Finger Lakes Fire and Casualty, Route 227.
I mean, our AM even hits Pennsylvania.
Hi, I'm Dr. Pat Brophy from UR Medicine, Golisano Children's Hospital. When your favorite team wins, it's because they work together. When a medical team saves a life, it's because they put all their skills together. That's why Golisano Children's Hospital is so dedicated to creating a healthy community. It will give kids in the region access to advanced care, help us do groundbreaking research, and provide top-notch training to the next generation of pediatricians. You can help us do this, so please give to Golisano Children's Hospital.
Hello, Rochester and all of Central and Western New York. This is Dan Bongino, and I'll be joining you weekday afternoons, 2 to 5 p.m. on the WYSL stations. From COVID to cancel culture to Cuomo, we've got the latest for you on the new Dan Bongino Show right here.
Dan Bongino, weekday afternoons on FM 92.1, FM 95.5 West, and AM 1040, plus WYSL1040.com, starting May 24th. Come home to calm, quiet, and beautiful Woodgate apartments and townhomes in Spencerport. Just minutes from downtown Rochester. Choose from 1 or 2 bedroom apartments or 2 or 3 bedroom 2-floor townhomes in an historic canal village featuring nearby restaurants and shopping. You'll appreciate the balconies, patios, and beautiful pool. The townhomes include an attached garage. Come take a tour and meet our friendly and knowledgeable on-site staff, Cedar Circle in Spencerport, or visit woodgateplaceapts.com to learn more.
A free solution.
Hey, it's Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. Also host of the Sharp Way Show. Feel free to watch my cool Sharp Way Show too in the evenings if you want to. Check out me on YouTube, The Sharp Way. Here on WYSL, Rochester, New York, WENY, Elmira Corning, The Patriot, and WACK, Newark, New York, 585-346-3000. I want to grab just a couple of comments here before I move on. I'm so happy some of you are really jumping on board here. It's great. Andrew says, in college, I had one professor teaching law who has their doctorate in political science, mind you. And in the beginning of the class, he says, I am not a lawyer and have not practiced law. I automatically dropped the course since it was so ridiculous how he was teaching. Well, the point about this, Andrew, to be clear, is this is my point, right? If you're not a good lawyer because you did well on your SAT or got a doctorate or whatever the case may be, but you can be in academia very successful. That's exactly my point, right? You're literally making my point. I appreciate that, because academia, if you want to be a professor, get those tests, get those degrees, 100% the right answer. No question. If you don't want to be that, maybe not. Adrian says, I got my generic Regents diploma. They were the finals for the class. Oh, okay. Not everyone had to get one. Honors was by the school. So why are the new Regent standards? I agree. Why are there new standards? That was my point with Dave. Why are we jumping through hoops? It's just like to make work for bureaucrats. Doesn't make any sense. She says only up to 5th grade with my kids. Oh, it's going to get bad. I got one there and I got one in high school. It's going to be a problem. Absolutely. Let me grab a call if I can. I want to see if I can grab Melissa from Olean. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you called in. What's going on?
Well, I have just a silly question, just because I'm curious as to what your opinion would be on this. I graduated in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
And my senior year, of course, you had to have electives to fill the time. You couldn't just have a whole bunch of study halls because they wanted you to kind of stay in the building. So
because they wanted you to stay in the building. I love that.
Well, I took like a life studies course where we learned some of the basics, balancing a checkbook, figuring out a budget, things like that. But there was also a parenting element. And we had those robotic babies. They didn't give you a sack of flour in 1999. They went high tech.
I like that.
So we had robotic babies that when they cried, you had to hold a key in their back to stop them from crying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just bring that up because I want to know, if there was a life studies course offered, what would you want people to learn at that high school level?
It is a great question. And many people have asked that question. Why aren't we doing that? Isn't that more important? And this is one of the reasons why I say the last 2 years of high school, unless you are specifically going to a college as a professional, are almost always useless. Your school was smart. They made you do something. Most schools don't. For most kids, their senior year is study hall, smoking weed, and playing video games. That's what most kids in their senior year is now. So I'm very happy that your school was savvier and trying to keep you in the building. But the point is, even you said it, their goal wasn't to teach you. Their goal was a holding pen until you went off into either college, a job, or the military. That's not what high school should be. I'm all about teaching life skills. The problem is most of the colleges are rewarded by one or two things: testing, which is only English and math; STEM, if they are a specialized school; or their college placement. whether you want to go to college or not. So that's how they're incentivized. So that's how they act, right? If you incentivize people a certain way, they tend to act a certain way. That's how they're incentivized. That's how they act. If it were up to me, I'd have much more localized control. And I would like the local people to decide what's more valuable. But my view would be number one thing, credit. How to handle, how to deal with credit. Credit is the number one life skill, I think, that most people don't understand. The second piece after credit's number one in my view. The second's personal finance, and they link together. They could be the same class. But the concept about how credit works in our country is critical. It affects every part of your life. It affects what you can buy. If you have bad credit, very often you wind up becoming a second-class citizen by default. You don't understand how to get out of a bad situation if you're in one. You don't understand how to get a credit card. You don't understand how to buy a car. You don't understand how to buy a house. All the things that matter. So the first thing will be credit. The second thing will be overall personal finance. And the next thing I'd worry about, it's going to sound crazy, contract law. I'm not joking. What a contract
no, I
actually
fully understand that.
Yes. The amount of people who sign contracts and have no idea what they are, or the value they have, or the value they don't have. Because what I hear often, and this goes from, I'll go to an average person to an entrepreneur. The average person often gets in trouble, sees a contract, signs it, and then is in trouble and doesn't know how to get out of it. Or out of fear, doesn't sign a contract that isn't a big deal, that they really should probably sign. Both are a mistake, right? You want to make sure you're signing the right contracts and not signing the wrong ones and knowing how you can get out of it. But I'll go to the next level. When someone gets into a bigger business world, they start doing very well for themselves. They often think contracts are going to save them. And for many people that don't understand how contracts work in general, contracts don't mean someone will do what they say. Contract means if they don't do it, you might be able to sue them. That's what a contract actually means. Contracts help out the big guy far more than the little guy. And people think the reverse, right? I've done many deals in my life without a contract. Larry, you're crazy. And my point was, am I going to sue the people? If I'm not going to sue them, I don't care about a contract. I just want a very good outline of what's expected. Because if they screw me over, I'm not suing them. So why do I care about a contract? Now, I'm not saying you should do that. But if you understand how contracts work, and the average American does not, particularly the young American, the older Americans often know because they've been screwed somehow. That's how they now learn, because they got messed over somebody. Oh, now I learn. So I think those are the three things I'd focus on. First would be credit. Second would be personal finance. Third would be contract law. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I agree with you 100% because I've been renting for 15 years now, and I still don't understand renter's insurance. And it's a requirement.
There we go.
It's a requirement where I live.
There we go. That's perfect. You when it comes to personal life, those three things matter most. And I said, Larry, what about parenting and such? I think parenting matters too. Absolutely. I think, knowing how to deal with your home and sew and shop, understanding basic ways of fixing things, also important, right? When I was a kid, we had shop and home ec, which was basically how to fix things either in the home or outside the home. That's basically what that was. And those are important also. Absolutely. And if you can do those, good. I just think the ones I mentioned, if I only have to pick three, those are the three. Right behind that, if I get more, if you're giving me more, Melissa, then I'm going to go then with how to fix things and survive in the home ec, and then how to fix things and survive outside the home, shop. I think all of those are good, because if you have a general idea on how to repair and fix things in your home and outside your home, even if you don't repair it, you're able to talk to professionals and tradesmen better.
I agree.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's where I would go. I think that makes happier people. And if you're a happier person, you're probably going to be a better partner, whether that's a romantic partner, a family partner, or a business partner. If you're miserable, you're probably going to be bad at all three of those things. If you're happy, you'll be better at those things.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
There we go. I appreciate it. Thank you for calling.
Thank you so much.
All righty. So I think that's what school could be, right? That's not a bad thing, but it doesn't become that when we're focused on incentivizing people or schools, not because that the students and the parents are happy, but because the federal government is throwing money at them, which is the norm. Let me grab a couple more comments. Dr. Thunder, how are you, sir? I was on his show before. If you don't know what you're doing, then college is a very inefficient way to figure that out. Correct. Oh my God. I'd much rather someone go out, work, and go, okay, this is terrible. I don't like this. Or work and go, ooh, this is good. I like this. How to move ahead. Oh, move ahead. I need a degree in this, or I need to learn that so I can move ahead in this career that I now have decided that I like. Go to college. It's a great idea. I tell this story often. I joined the Marine Corps when I was 17. Went off, and my second tour, I was 21, 22, my second tour. And when on my second tour, I realized I should get a college degree. And as I mentioned, I was a terrible high school student. And I mean terrible. C's and D's, terrible high school student. Barely passed. When I went to college, I was a full-time Marine and a full-time student. 3.7 GPA. Larry, because you're smart. No, because I wanted to be in college. And guess what? If you want to do something, you do it better. That's just human nature. I was a terrible student in high school, not because I'm dumb or because I'm smart. None of those things matter, because I didn't want to be there, didn't care. I was a good college student, not because I'm dumb or because I'm smart, because I cared and I wanted to. And guess what? We're all that way. If you care and you want to do it, you do it well. And if you don't care and don't want to do it, you half-step and you give a terrible outcome. That's just human nature. Let's go to college when we want to go to college. Let's go to college when we see value in college. That's a much better solution. It doesn't cost much. You should go out there and make some money. I don't know if it's free. It might be. This is a free solution. 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech?
Take a look at your phone. I sent you a text.
Customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row. And have an 8.
Oh, no, I sent that text from me.
If your website doesn't match,
Yeah, I was just pointing out what Home and Careers is like for my daughter right now.
Call today for a consultation at 585-200.
Yeah, when we had the open house back in 2019, when she was going in the 6th grade, I saw the Home and Careers room with the laundry machine and the dryer. And she said, oh, yeah, and we expect them to do some of that at home. And I looked at the teacher. I said, that's homework. I'll definitely make sure it gets done. And she laughed.
For he will rescue us from every trap and protect us from
South Coast Tax.
No, absolutely. Feel free to. And I like the fact that they're teaching unit pricing because it's such a simple thing. You look at different things. Something that might look like a good deal isn't when you compare the size.
We'll treat you like family.
Yeah.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
It is Larry Sharp back here on WYSL, Rochester, New York, WENY, Elmira Corning. You know I'm on a Patriot. And WACK in the cool Newark, New York. I'm so glad you gave me and are giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I want to grab a couple of comments. Some of you who may be listening online may have heard my engineer bringing up his point, which I want to bring up now to those of you who weren't listening to me online. He has a daughter in junior high school, and she's taking home and careers. Love the idea. Learning things like laundry and home skills and buying and purchasing and things of that sort. And you might say, wow, Larry, that's good. It's in school. It is. And sadly, it has to be in school for many people because it gets even parents to think about this. Maybe I should be teaching my kids some of this stuff and not just what the guidance counselors yelling at me saying, you got to get her grades up. Now, I want your kids to have good grades. Of course. I want my kids to have good grades. Of course. But I want them to learn, right? And I'm a nudge parent, you can imagine. I'm a libertarian, wear it on my sleeve. I raise my kids the same way. That's who I am. I had my oldest daughter doing her own laundry by the time she was 14, doing all her own laundry. Like, she does all of her own laundry. No one does. She does it. She decides when to put it in, when to fold it. If she's got no clean clothes, that's her problem. That's how that works. I had my kids going across the street. Luckily, I live in New York City for that regard. There's a deli across the street. I had them going across buying things at 8, 9 years old. And my youngest one is 11. She purchases things on her own constantly, goes across the street, buys stuff. And I have them count the change out. How much did it cost? But Rob brought up a very important point. The idea of a unit price. Like, so is it actually cheaper? Right? Or is just the price lower? Are you actually getting more? What are you getting per ounce or per serving or per this? These, I mean, Melissa, I know when you called and I gave you those 3 and I went to home ec and I wasn't clear on home ec. What Rob is talking about is what I'd like to happen in home ec, right? I guess they call it home and careers now. When I was a kid, it was called home ec, home economics. That's what it was called when I was a kid. This is the stuff that matters. This is how people can figure out how to get ahead in life and that not to be a stressor. And I always talk about relationships and people and being happy. Everybody knows this. If you can't get your money right, you're not going to be the positive person that you can be, right? I mean, we all know this. Probably because most Americans have. I've been there. When you're struggling for cash, you're not always the nicest person. It's just the way it is. So let's get our money right, and we can be a better person. And that means we're going to be a better partner, whether that's romantically, family, or business. Better partner. I'm on board. So thank you for that, Rob, my engineer. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let me grab a couple of more comments here. Adrian says, the most successful person in my family learned plumbing in the U.S. Navy Seabees. I like that. Owned an honest business and branded himself to North Shore elites who have $75,000 bathrooms. I like that. I want one of those. That's good. I agree, right? This is another way. You can make money without having to have a college degree. You should be figuring out what works best for you. Matthew says, so many employers outside of your examples will throw your resume in the garbage without a bachelor's degree. While you might not need it in practice, you might never get a chance to prove it. This is less and less true, Matthew. It's less and less true. That was definitely true 20 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe. But since the crash, that's been changing tremendously. people are far more concerned about two things. One, it's going to sound crazy, who you know. And two, what have you done? Far more times that's true. The exception of very jobs that are non-professional, meaning like, you're going to work as an associate in a store or something. Not that they don't care about that as much. But any job that is more professional, and you can check the date on this. McKinsey publishes this all the time. BCG publishes this all the time. 80% of all professional jobs are somehow gotten through networking. And that's since the crash, since 2009, 2010. It was pretty high before, but a massive jump since that. That time was a big jump in networking. The more people you know and who recommend you, far more important for professional jobs than anything else, more than your bachelor's degree. So you can say, I look at now what I do and what I do in my job. I've taught at colleges, Yale, Columbia, Baruch, St. John's. They don't even ask if I have a college degree. They don't. And I've taught at the master's degree level. I don't have a master's degree. I have a bachelor's degree in anthropology. That's really what I have. And I've taught business at that level. Why? It's more about who you know and what you've done. Far more important now than it's ever been. And you ask him like Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a good example. If you ask him, he's in many interviews on this, and he'll tell you the same thing. He's like, who does he hire? He hires two types. One, best schools, best grades. That's number one. Highest schools, best grades. Number one. Elite of the elite. That's academic. And someone who's done something. That's his words, not mine. His words. Someone who's done something. What have you done? You haven't done anything? I don't care. So a lot of the people who aren't being hired is because they haven't done anything. And I'm not joking when I say that. And how would I know that? Who am I? I'm a guy who hires and fires. That's what, well, prior to COVID. Prior to COVID, I was. Now I've become executive coach because
2 minutes
from home. But in the past is what I've done. Hired and fired. And I'm looking for what have you done? I would tell some of my students in MBA programs, and I would say, well, what are you doing? What do you mean? I'm a MBA student. I know, but what are you doing? Well, nothing. I'm a student. You're in trouble. You're going to suffer. So you're right. Far and far less, and getting even less. They're realizing the value of a bachelor's degree is less and less. And people are now coming out with so much debt. Not so good. So anyway, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes. So Adrian says, a key in the back and baby stops crying. Definitely not reality. Yes. But I think what they're trying to do with this one is get you to realize that you have to take action and service a living thing. I think that's the concept. So yes.
1 minute.
Here we go. Yeah. So Matt says, I think if you speak to job recruiters, have one or two on your show, I think you would find out differently. I'm one of them. It's what I've done. And I speak to many of them. They're my clients. I deal with them constantly. And again, what do job recruiters do? Literally network. They pitch the person. They're the ones pitching people. That's really how it works consistently, again and again and again. I do think you will find that networking is actually more important now than it's ever been. And networking, by the way, can be free. Yes, it can. It absolutely can be free. You can get out, meet people, say hi. It costs a little bit, but it's not expensive as college. Yes, I gave it to you again, a free solution. Thank you so much for giving me a part of your afternoon. I will see you all later this week.